Hey all. Right, so first of all, I'm sorry. This video was supposed to go online yesterday, but it didn't because, well, last weekend when I showed you the snow on the mountaintops, we obviously didn't have too much sun, and this weekend we've been playing some games online with some of our friends from the UK, from Germany, Estonia, Lithuania, and that used up a lot of power. So I simply didn't have enough power to edit today's video and upload it for tomorrow because, well, with our current internet connection that takes a long time, so that's why I'm late one day. But anyways, what I wanted to talk to you about today is what is it like to live in Lanjaron or live in Spain, in Andalusia, as a Dutch guy. And just to clarify for the new people here maybe, we've been living here since December 2020, so not that long yet, just like 6 weeks. So we only know about winter time here so far, but to be honest, it couldn't be any better. It's totally what I expected, maybe it's even more, because out of those 6 weeks we got a lot, and I say a lot, of sunny weather. And really, when the weather forecast says it's like a 12 degrees, it would be fairly easy to walk around in your t-shirt outside and walk in the sun and you get a tan, and it's not cold at all. Like 12 degrees in the Netherlands, people would say you're crazy if you go outside in your t-shirt. That doesn't work. But here, it's totally fine. Maybe it's just because we're not used to the temperature yet. So 12 degrees feels pretty warm to us. Maybe it will change in the future, I don't know. But so far weather is really good. And well, we've been pretty busy as well. As you've noticed in the last few videos, we've went skiing. I've planted some trees. Right. And after a few hours also the avocado is set. I did some garden maintenance. Way better. I pruned some trees. I harvested some logs for our fireplace for the next winter. This is what we got for today, not too much. I've been picking almonds, olives, whatsoever.
I mean, it's not great, but I'm satisfied.
I've been making sugar-coated almonds. And then you get the sugar-coated almonds as a result. I've been making olive oil. I've been making almond paste. We got the end result, which I filmed vertically for no reason. Well, and so on. I mean, I could show you several videos of things which I've been doing last days. Quite a lot. So, and we have plenty of time to do so as well, because, well, we bought this house without any mortgage. We were very lucky to be able to do that. And we're living off-grid, so we don't need that much to maintain ourselves money-wise, and that gives us a lot of time to do, well, stuff around in the garden, in our own house, or go exploring outside, because there's so much to do around. I mean, the beach is like half an hour drive, even less. They're building a highway towards Lanjaron, by the way. Which will reduce the travel time to the beach with an additional 5 or 10 minutes. The airport of Malaga, Granada and Almería are all pretty close. The ski resort is closed, well, and so on. I mean, there's plenty to do. Um, and specifically for me as a Dutch guy, I'm in love with the weather so far. So that's definitely a plus. It's way cheaper to live here. That's definitely a plus as well. Living off grid. I have a little bit of a doubt about this item, about this topic, because it wasn't really necessarily a goal for us to be living off grid, but we knew that if we would do it, the cost of living would be way cheaper, and so it turned out to be way cheaper, and that's a factor which I really like. Um, but that wasn't necessarily a goal for us. But now it turns out that way. We like it. Though it is quite a challenge because, we don't always have sufficient energy. So electricity is, well, obviously depending on the weather, because we only have our solar panels and some batteries. Um, the water supply, well, so far so good. I mean, things can turn out differently in summertime, I guess, but so far so good. Um, Well, we have a septic tank, but that's not really an issue because that works out really well. Only sometimes you're able to smell the septic tank, which is, well, less nice, of course. But and well, oh right, the very, 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 very big downside of living here as a spoiled Dutch guy is having very bad internet. Um, we're outside of the city. We're living in El Campo, as they call it here in Spain. So in the mountains, which means that we're not connected to like anything. No internet cable, no water supply, no electricity. And we have our current internet by wave, radio waves, like you have this big satellite. And well, first of all, it's depending on the weather, the quality of the internet, and second, it looks to be very much influenced by the amount of people that are online at the current time. Like during daytime, the internet is way better and faster than during the evening for what reason. But either way, either times, it's both really slow. Like the download, if you're having a good moment, then you might reach a 30 megabytes per second, and the upload is only 1 megabyte per second. So, as some of you know, I used to stream online on Twitch, but I don't stream anymore because, well, our internet connection is just not sufficient enough to do so. So that's a really downside. Well, thinking about food, that's a thing about living in Lanjaron. I mean, there's one bigger grocery store, the Dia, but define bigger. I mean, they don't have a lot and it's still relatively small. As we go out to do our grocery shopping, we most times bring a list of things we need, and 9 out of 10 times we return back home missing like 2 or 3 items because they just don't have it. So I think we end up going to one of the bigger stores, which is half an hour drive every once in the 2-3 weeks, something like that, because you just need some certain supplies which you cannot get from town. It's definitely a plus to have a swimming pool. I mean, we haven't used it yet and it's not clean, but we're really looking forward to cleaning that and preparing it for upcoming summer. That will be a pro. I don't know if you could call it a downside, but because we're not currently working for a boss, we lost track of time. I mean, we very often question ourselves and each other, what day is it or what's the date? We have no clue. Yeah, well, it's not really an issue, but we just noticed. And what's also a very big plus is we lost some weight, obviously because we're, well, getting more exercise because we're outside quite a lot and doing stuff all around. But besides that, it's also, I think, because you live way more healthy, in combination with living in the mountains and having a small grocery store. They don't have those pre-sliced vegetables or pre-cut, well, whatever you call it, whatever. So you really need to work with the fresh ingredients that the grocery store has, or the stuff you supply by yourself from your own garden. So food-wise, we're living way more healthy and we're using way less fat. You don't get tempted by any McDonald's or KFC because it's just not around. Which is sometimes a shame because it's just easy, fast food. But instead of having that, we're saving like a lasagna in the fridge. Something like that. I mean, that works out. Definitely a plus as well. We've learned a lot of new things, like living off-grid, living on gas, because, well, the Netherlands is trying to get rid of all the gas. But here, we couldn't live without. I mean, we have warm water, warmed by gas. We cook on gas. We have an oven on gas. Well, without, we wouldn't be able to, well, we could convert everything but to electricity, but then we need, obviously, also more panels and more batteries, and that would make it really expensive, I guess. But maybe in the future we will, because our current solar system is getting outdated, we think, so maybe sometimes. Well, and the one other thing I could think of is like the Dutch rhythm you have with having your meals on certain times. Obviously the lunch here in Spain is much later on day, and dinner as well, compared to the Dutch lunch times where you would have your lunch, well, between 12 and 1 maybe, and have dinner probably around 6. Personally, we ate dinner between 5 and 6, so even more early. And currently for us now everything is delayed by like 1 or 2 hours. We want to delay it a little bit more because we're really getting into the Spanish cycle, but it takes some time to adjust, I guess. And obviously having a bigger lunch and a smaller dinner. Because if you're having a very big dinner at such a late time, it will be hard for your body to burn all those calories. So we try to adjust our meals to time of day. And what I would say about Lanjaron specifically, or like the Alpujarras, Andalusia, there's a lot of expats here. I mean, you kind of want to blend in and want to learn Spanish and want to learn the culture, and otherwise you really find the comfort of not really needing to do so because there's so many English, Dutch, German, Belgian people around, that, well, by speaking English you'd survive. I mean, it's not really mandatory to speak Spanish, though you really want to be honest, or at least I want to. So that's the thing. And besides, well, I like living in the mountains. The Alpujarras is a beautiful, beautiful area with such rough nature and, well, steep cliffs. It's really nature at its best. And there's such big differences in climate and in nature within such short distances. I mean, the sea is that nearby, and while you're standing on the beach you could see like mountain tops which are over 3,000 meters high. I mean, that's such a difference. I couldn't imagine something like that in the Netherlands, so that's something really magical for me in this area. That's why I really like the Alpujarras and, well, Lanjaron specifically, because we have awesome views and we have sea views. Though the one downside is we cannot see the snowy mountaintops. We know it's there and it's really, really close, but We just can't see it because I think the hill is going up too steep. And you have like total privacy here, something which you cannot imagine in the Netherlands as well. I mean, when you're living in a town or in a village or even outside of town, you always have neighbors nearby. You could see them, you could reach them. If you shout at them, they'll hear you. But here, we're completely free. I mean, you could do skinny dipping in your own pool. And I don't know, we sit in our bathrobes every morning drinking our coffee. No one's around. You only hear nature. There's no people. There's no cars driving by. It's completely silent. You, nature, no neighbors, no people around. And that's really magical. Yeah, I guess that's a very, very good roundup. But obviously, like I said before, we've been living here for 6 weeks, so maybe I should do another video about these topics in like half a year, and let's see how everything is by then. I think that's a good idea, so let's round up by that. Hopefully see you in a bit. Bye bye.